Do you know what my people call this past year? The long Halloween. My nephew, Johnny Vitti, he was the first to die on Halloween night. It should have ended there, but it didn't. And we both know why. You and the cops just let the killing happen because he was killing our people, men the familiar. And you stand there and act like your hands are clean. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I'm J77, and welcome back to another episode of Comic Talk 360. And today, I'm going to be talking about probably one of the top three best graphic novels within the Batman universe, Batman The Long Halloween. This was written by Jeff Loeb, I believe, Loeb, and Tim Sowles, who was the artist. And both of them combined have given us a very dark, very grounded, very strong character development, as well as giving us not just Batman itself, but the world that Batman is in and the conflicts that he is constantly facing. And what I like about this comic so much is that it's not just Batman. There's a whole lot of stuff going on. Batman is here. He's definitely a strong focal point in here, but he's not the focal point. There's a lot of stuff that's going on that plays a role into the events that has occurred. To make it very short, Batman, Harvey Dent, which is the DA, and Captain Gordon, not Commissioner because he's not Commissioner yet, have made a pact, a vow. They did this under the roof of police headquarters, vowing that they would work together to take out the Roman, which is the head crime lord and pretty much an untouchable force to be reckoned with in the Batman world. He's untouchable because he pretty much have most of the politicians, most of the police, and even some of the judges under his thumb. He pays them off. They work for him, and they make sure his guys get off. He is a very, very ruthless individual, which we find out just how ruthless as the story continues. They made a pact that they have to take down the Roman. It's after a very big wedding, a mob wedding, of course, which is something that a lot of writers seem to have. It's something that has become pretty much a blueprint for stories like this. If you look at The Godfather, you understand where I'm coming from with that. But it always seemed to start out at a party. In this case, Johnny Vitti is getting married, and he's the Roman's nephew. And we see through Bruce Wayne narrative that he doesn't want to be there, and the only reason why he's there is to try and persuade Bruce into a banking deal. This banking deal will bring money to the Gotham Bank, which Bruce Wayne flat out rejects, to the point where he makes his feelings known through the boys, which he comes through later, saying that he will never accept this and he cannot allow this to happen. The story continues onward. That's this part of the story, but there's a whole lot of stuff going on. And one of the things is that you have Harvey Dent, which is a unique character within itself. And I'm definitely going to touch on every last character because it's very important I touch them on an individual basis. But they made a pact because, one, he wants so desperately to take down the Roman. He's been having his grip for years, choking the life of the city. And Batman, Gordon, and Dent made that oath. However, there's another problem going on. There's a killer on the loose that seems to also have it in for the Roman. And the first thing he did was to kill the Roman's nephew, pretty much in cold blood. Shot him twice in the head in the bathtub. He then goes after another member of the Roman's family, which is Alberto, which is considered to be the good son. He also went after a paid hired gun to try and kill, who was hired to kill Harvey Dent. We don't know if it's the Romans, but we kind of hint it pretty much was during the Thanksgiving feast. And this killer kills them. And what's so unique about the killer is he leaves trinkets connecting it to holidays, which gave this killer, whoever this killer is, the word holiday. So there's a whole lot of stuff going on with Batman trying to take down a Roman. At the same time, there's a killer that seems to be drawing a lot more attention to them than that man just focusing attention on just taking down Carmine Falcone. All hell is breaking loose at this situation because Carmine don't know who it is. He assuming it's his arch nemesis, his business rival, Salvatore the Boss Maroni, which also plays a huge part in this. And he's even going as far as assuming that Harvey Dent is responsible for these killings. So there's really a lot of stuff situation that really builds mistrust. Built mistrust on Batman in terms of if Harvey is really the killer or not. Harvey seems to hint that he doesn't seem to mind these killing happens. There's even hints of a possible betrayal within the family. So it really plays on this. It slowly becomes a who done it in a very unique and very fascinating way that I didn't expect them to pull it off. What makes this story so unique is, besides the dark nature, even the dark ending that happened, is the way the characters, their motivations, their personalities that really resonate within this book. Let's start with pretty much Batman. Batman is told a lot darker than I think people have realized. There is hints of Batman that said he's willing to use excessive, even deadly force to rid Gotham of the evil that's been choking the city. He's even been told that he must be willing to deal with the punishment, which means he must be willing to kill, but is also being held back by Commissioner Gordon. So there's that conflict that's going on. There's no denying that there is a definite conflict. Even when that galactic battle, when he's confronted what was supposed to be Holiday, where he's doing successful damage that could easily kill a man, and has only been held back by the fact that Gordon is there saying, yo, enough, that's it. I don't want you to do something you might regret. And he can see it in his face that he wants to take him down. So there's a dark nature to Batman that I really haven't really expected be written in such beautiful detail, because it shows just how torn he is and how much influence his family's death has happened. Which, by the way, also plays a partial role in it, more to his father, because again, that's also something that that comes back within the book. Now, it's not just about the mob. Of course, you have your rogue galleries of villains. You have the Joker, who has his own scene. You have the Riddler. You have the Calendar Man, which plays a very interesting scene. I think I actually liked, out of all the rogue gallery villains, he's actually been used very, very well to move the story along. I actually did like the way they've written the Calendar Man here. And I'm not a big fan of too gimmicky style villains that Batman had. Yeah, he had a lot of bad villains back in the days, both in television and in the comic books. But here, he had the Calendar Man is written as a Hannibal Lecter style character, where Batman is forced to go to a person who fit the criteria of Holiday. Holiday does killings that connects with the calendar of that special particular year, the holiday year, while the Calendar Man does his crime with that coincides with dates. So it is understandable why they will go to him. And how he's written as a way of saying, hey, I'm going to help you, but you need to understand he's going to kill again. And he does it in such an nonchalant way that you pretty much sense that he knows more than what he's letting on, but he's not willing to actually give that information, at least not yet. But he has an idea of what the Calendar Man's plan to do. One of my favorite ones is when Batman was forced to come back to him again, because Batman shined him off because he wasn't making any sense. Putting out holidays which honestly, I'll be honest with you, after reading this book, I didn't know it exists. I didn't know Boxing Day was a thing. I heard of Secretary Day. It's kind of like, I think it's a Canada thing, but I didn't know about these holidays. But kudos for them to actually, giving me an idea of what Flag Day and Boxing Day and Secretary's Day. I was like, what are these holidays? I never heard of these. But then again, this is the price you're paying for not recognizing that there are holidays that you probably didn't know existed unless you have a calendar that's other than North America, particularly in the U.S. But it's very fascinating because it really hints that he knows a lot. So I really liked how they play him up, how he seems have sort of a resentment because here's a person who's pretty much ripping off his style, and even he recognized that hey, the Calendar Man is being forgotten here, and at the very end of that, near the end of the second act, he basically said, "Yo, I cannot have that. I cannot be forgotten." So it's very interesting how they've written the Calendar Man in that perspective. Batman is written as well as you could, but I actually like the way Gordon is played the way you expect Gordon to play. An honest cop who wants to go by the book, who knows he's facing a lot of problems within his own precinct. He knows he's facing a lot of problems trying to take down the Roman, but he wants to do it clean. And he is constantly reminded that that's not an easy job to do, but he still wants to play it. In the book, it was through Bruce Wayne monologue. He says straight up that Gordon is an honest cop. He's unique in Gotham City, which he is, and he's pretty much too much of a good cop in many extents, because here you have Harvey Dent. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Harvey Dent is the most fascinating writing character I have ever had the pleasure of reading, and for a lot of reasons. I grew up knowing Two-Face through the Batman, the animated series. And the reason is that the Two-Face that they was originally written, because keep in mind, Two-Face was around in the comic books way before the Long Halloween was. But he wasn't written the way I expected them to write him in this one. Keep in mind, Two-Face was almost a lost villain. And that's doing something I'm going to be touching on in the next episode of Comic Talk 360 with the Comics Code. And he was a dark villain. There's no question about it. Here, we see that transformation into that dark villain. In the cartoon version, a little briefly, he had a split personality. Here, he already had a taste for vigilante vengeance, and it's shown in little bits of pockets. Here you have Harvey Dent, a man who's trying to do the job of the people, a man who wants to see the Falcone bring to justice, but in the process he's being stopped. His witnesses are disappearing, and he himself is being harassed and even beaten up by the Roman's men, and with no repercussion to what they're doing. They're basically saying we're untouchable, and we're showing you untouchable. A perfect example of this is him getting beat up in doing the very first act of the comic book, where he's taking down license plate numbers and he's getting jumped by the goons for hire from the Roman. Really setting up the tone that he's in over his head, and he knows he's in over his head. So when you see him actually taking pleasure of seeing one of the Romans' men die, it's not really much shocking, but it is showing that he has no problem of using vigilante justice. It's one of the main reasons why he seems to respect and fancy what Batman is doing, because he said himself, he's crossing a line at which he can, but he wish he can, which is Gordon is reminding him that it's still a line, you can't cross it. And this is not the first time Gordon is reminding him. When word that Johnny Vitti was killed, and he said 2 shots in the head, could not to the better guy, and Dent and Gordon said, I don't want to hear that kind of talk, not publicly or privately, which you hinting that hey, if he wanted to, he could be that kind of guy, which makes sense in many ways of why the Roman himself thought he was Holiday. And even more so is the way the writing has presented him. When the situation, when things hit the fan, when there was war between the Falcones and the Roman, there was a drawing in a panel that showed a very evil, monogamous look, that he's savoring the moment that there's gang violence in the city, and he's enjoying it. And he even said the best thing about what these guys are doing is they're doing our job for us. And Gordon is kind of surprised. Even when Batman's trying to pick the pieces together, collecting all the evidence about Holiday, the butler, Alfred Pennyworth, I've even said, look, man, he's been, there's one guy you seem to not mention that's been acting in the most mysterious ways. And, it's written very well to the point where you can understand why, again, people would think he was Holiday. I'm not gonna. If you haven't read the book, I'm not gonna spoil it here. I suggest you read it, or rent it in the library, as I did, and just go out there and just see for yourself what I'm talking about. This is a well written character, because unlike the anime series, which shows him how to split personality. One side is for justice, clean cut, that debonair, handsome kind of guy. This one is written as a slow progression towards him snapping. So when the iconic tossing, spoiler alert if you haven't read it, which is not really a spoiler alert if you pretty much know the history of Harvey Dent, Two-Face, when he gets hit by that acid um, by uh, by Salvatore Moroni, it makes sense that he snapped. That was his breaking point right there. That was him saying to hell with this. And in that climax where he's actually, actually made that final turn to Two Face, he explained to Batman why he feels the way he feels. Every time he tries to bring these guys down, they either go to Arkham and escapes, or they get bribed out, or witnesses appeared and it continues happening again and again. He's fed up with it. So this is all that's built-in emotion, built-in anger, just spewing out in the form of Two-Face. Even in the end, he said that I did what needed to be done, which is actually hinted every time in this book. And in his idea, what needed to be done is he needed to take out the Roman by any means necessary. Now, the question is he Harley? Again, I'm not going to reveal that, because I think it's only best that you find out for yourself, in case you haven't read the ending of the book for yourself, who Harley really was. But it's a very interesting turn, and even to this day, I'm actually in conflict with what the way the writers choose to go with it. Because when you look at it from the point of view, and I'm going to go to the Roman in a minute, Harley was created through the Romans' wrath. What Roman has done to the city, what Roman has done to a lot of lives, and its lives. And it all really stems back to what has happened to Richard Daniel, which was the banker. As soon as Batman paid a visit to him and basically said the Falcone money, keep it out of the bank, that's when things started going crazy, because he offered a hit. That pretty much triggered the chain of events for stuff to occur. And Harley was that pretty much repercussion, I like to call, from all the stuff that the Romans doing to the city, as well as people who has been affected by it, particularly the Dents, which is Gilda, who's actually wants to be with her husband but can't because of this holiday situation, and you have the Roman case and everything else, and she sees the change in her husband to the point where you're not too sure where his sanity is anymore. He even went after Bruce Wayne, thinking that he was helping the Roman in some fashion, even though he had no proof whatsoever. He figured this was the reason. It all stems to the connection between the Roman and Bruce Wayne's father. Like I said before, there's a big key here. If you read in the very beginning, it's been hinted that there was a connection between Bruce, the Waynes, and the Roman crime family. And at first we didn't know what it was. It couldn't possibly be anything that's criminal. That's not possible. But it was something that actually had an effect towards Bruce Wayne, even through his grown-up years. And that was the fact that the Roman is alive because Bruce Wayne's father has played a key role in saving his life. And that had a very major effect. Would it have changed the destiny of Batman? Who knows? But it happened. And it also brings the mystery of another situation, which they didn't really go into detail, which I kind of wish, was the Catwoman's character. Another well-written character, one of the most recurring anti-villains. And I call her anti-villain because to me, she never really was that villain. She was an anti-villain. She was more doing things for herself. And in here, you pretty much see the same thing. It's well written. Love the way they have did the artwork on Selena Kyle. Love they did the artwork on how Catwoman is. There was some artwork that seemed to, if I gotta say, a little bit awkward, but otherwise well done in terms of the design they choose and how they chose to tell the story of this weird, awkward relationship with her and Batman. very, very well done. But there was very clear connection. And for some odd reason, they didn't choose to expand upon that connection. There was really no conclusion. The only thing we hinted was uh, the Roman's daughter, Sophia Shagante, which comes in this later second half of the story. She was incarcerated. She got out of jail. We find out a little bit why she was in jail, but she is a very big force to be reckoned with. And it just brings to me the man, who the main villain, not the Joker, even though he was there. And for those who want to know, the Joker played a very not a big part, but a part nonetheless, because he wanted to kill Holiday, and he was willing to kill everybody just to get to Holiday. He's going into the Maroni's restaurant. He's terrorizing Harvey Dent because there's rumors that he's Holiday. He's even going to Falcone, telling him, "You better find Holiday, or I will kill everyone in Gotham until I find him." He's even going to New Year's. He took a dust cropter and then attempts to poison everybody in the square until Batman stops him. He plays that role. It's a good role. They have some good moments, but he's not the important piece to the story. The important piece of the story is what I said. Catwoman is an important piece of the story. Batman is. Harvey Dent is. Maroni. We have Falcone. And we have Batman. We have all those characters there. These are the main focus of the story, and they make it their business to tell you the main focus of the story. And here's how you know that Joker, the Riddler, are not the main story. They're pretty much part, but not the main focus. Every time when it looks like Batman is about to go one-on-one, they don't stay with that storyline. They cut right back to what is Harvey Dent doing? How is he coping? Him and his family, Gordon, and how they're dealing with the situation, their situations. We're seeing the cause and the effects through their eyes more so than we're seeing it through anybody else's. And we're seeing what is being done to each other, both to their friendship and to their partnership in terms of fighting crime. And it all stems back to the Roman. The Roman character is a very cold character. I read this story 5 times, and I've been analyzing Carmine Falcone's character traits for a while now, and I realize just how cold he is. He's not capable of the same love as one may feel for a father to a daughter, or a daughter to a mother, or a mother to a son, or a father to a son. He looks at love as kind of getting in the way of business. And one of the perfect examples of this is when his sister, Carla, who runs the mob in Chicago, was walking in a room in Thanksgiving. He's making Thanksgiving feast. I'm telling his son Alberto he has a lot to be thankful for. And she walks in the door and said, like what? My son is in the ground. What the hell do I gotta be so damn thankful for? And the response he gave was kind of interesting. He said, "Don't worry, the situation is being handled." Again, she's questioning that, but again, he said, "It's being handled." I don't like to repeat myself. Now, come on, it's Thanksgiving. No more business. This is a mother, as much as we don't like these characters, but still, she was a mother to a son who lost his life. As dirty as he was, she's grieving for the loss of a son, and she's enraged. And you're looking at this rage not through her eyes, but through Alberto's eyes, which is very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. And there's a reason for that. I'm trying my best not to spoil it, but there's a very important reason for this. And I will say it through Sophia's character, because it explains a lot about Alberto's character and the resentment we find out later he has for a father, for the reasons that it was kind of interesting. I will say this: if you look at The Godfather Part 2, you'd see what I'm getting at here. But you're seeing it through Alberto's eyes. You see the anger, and you say, "This was not business. Alberto was my only son, my baby." And that's the thing that I will always keep on focus on, because everything was business. When Alberto was trying to, assist Falcone in the banking situation, he didn't want him involved in that. It's business. He looks at things in a business perspective. He doesn't look at things in the father perspective. And that's a thing that is very, very clear on the Roman, that he's very cold, very, very cold. In the very beginning, he had no qualms of killing his nephew if for what he believed was going to snitch on him or spill the beans on the Roman Empire. Now, I'm pretty sure that Carlisle saved his neck to the point where he's going to get married. That was part of the deal. But still, there's a coldness to him that really resonates. And nothing says it better than the Father's Day situation where you have Sophia who's giving him a tie, saying Happy Father's Day. It's something of affection and love. And he says, I appreciate your gesture, and just walks away as if it was nothing. It's very, very powerful how cold and heartless this guy is. That he even is a tie, but it still came from a loving relative, and yet he just brushed it off. Even when Batman confronted him and asked him, was it worth it? He didn't understand what he meant. The tribe he chose cost his son, who wasn't involved in the family business, his life. And all he can say is, my son was never involved in the business. He didn't need to be involved. You involved. But he didn't see that. And he doesn't see the emotional impact that he had or the devastating impact he had across the city. He just sees it as business. And that's how cold he was. That's how calculated he was. And nothing was said that more than the fact is that it was his daughter, not his oldest son, who became pretty much his right hand man or woman in this one. And why? She had the muscles, she had the height, she had the ability. If you were, Sofia Gigante is a very intimidating figure. She's drawn very well. This is a lady you don't want to mess with. When she's trying to find out information about the gun used that the Holiday used to kill, it's very present that she's picking up a man with his one hand holding the bridge, trying to find the address of the gun maker. That's an impact that says resonate big time. So when the scene that she's getting busted out of prison early, you can understand the reason. One, he has no one like her on his team. And the only reason why, it wasn't because of love. She could have got him out a long time ago. It's because, number one, he desperately need that kind of muscle. That's the only reason why she got out of jail. Now the question is, does he knew about the affair he had with his arch rival? I don't know. That's something that was actually mentioned in the book, but later on, I'm not going to get into detail with that. But that's what Gigante is. She is that, that hitman that can get things done. And this is the world that Batman is dealing with. Batman is dealing with a lot of stuff here. And you see it here. You're not just seeing Batman per se, you're seeing the world surrounding Batman. You're seeing what the impact it has towards everybody who's involved in this. And it's told very, very well. And you can understand why a lot of the elements in this comic book has resonated in the Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. In case you haven't noticed, this became a blueprint for the Dark Knight. A lot of the elements in this book has spilled over into the Dark Knight movie, particularly the second one. It really, really shines well here. They modeled Two-Face after this Two-Face here in The Long Halloween. It's pretty much well written. You can see how Two-Face wants justice done, but there's also the hint that he's willing to break a few rules to get it done as well. And this is why Batman said, you're the one person I can never be. You're the one person that can actually clean up Gotham of the mess. So when he finally made that turn, or when that accident happened, that was all hope was dashed, at least in Bruce Wayne's view. The same thing here in this book. He is in the front, so he wants to take down the Roman, where he made a deal with Salvatore the Bartherone, who is also becoming the victim of Holiday, which actually put a little twist into the whole plot to the point where he's even thinking that it's the Roman who's Holly all along, and he's been using it as this Holly as a front. And when he lost his father, the original boss of the Falcone family, who retired and settled in, when he got gunned down, and he has no men left, he has pretty much no empire. He basically is forced to make a deal, not knowing that that person's going to betray them, which happened. It also shows how money and greed has pretty much overpowered the whole Harvey Dent's case. So when that whole thing happened, it just happened, and when it happened, it just very, very tragic. Because he is a character who wanted justice done, but was always being railroaded to the point where it drove him insane. That was the whole strange thing. Even though I knew it was coming, I kind of wish it didn't. That's how well written the character was. I felt very, very sad because this character didn't need to have that faith. As seeing him snap the way it is, say, my God, I wish they could have helped him. And him hinting about not possibly being two holiday killers was actually one of the things that really, really spun me. He said, well, which one is it? But again, this is what great writing, great storytelling, and great art can do to a comic book. I love this comic book. I really, really do. I consider it one of my top 10 best graphic novels that I've actually read. It's really, really good. And I recommend, if you're a Batman fan, especially those who are not just looking for Batman to beat up people, but more of a story that really coincides with the world that Batman lives in, as well as the people surrounding Batman, you will definitely love this book, because it's not just Batman. That's the one thing I want to make this, I can't stress this more. It's the people that Batman is associated with, good and bad. Everyone here has a motivation. The only motivation we really truly don't know behind, other than the fact that there's somewhat of a connection to the mob's daughter and Catwoman. But other than that, we really don't know what Catwoman's true motive is. She never really truly reveals her true motive is. And I know people are going to say, well, look at Batman Year One. I'm not going to look at, I'm looking at this here. It just never truly revealed. I kind of wish it was. But other than that, I guess the other issues that really go into more details. I may look into it. But to me, it was well written because it was well balanced. Not one character overshine the other. Joker didn't come in and steal the show, which I was actually afraid of. Neither did the Riddler. Riddler had his part, and Riddler played his part well. Even though I was kind of surprised how old they made the Riddler in this one. He looked like a guy who aged about 40 years. Maybe because of all the drinking he was doing lately. Maybe because he was just rugged. The Mad Hatter, Jervis Tetch, was done very well, along with the team up with the Scarecrow. I actually loved the design of the Scarecrow. I really did. I'm like, wow, that's an intimidating design they did with the Scarecrow and the artistry. If I got any feedback with the book, there's like two. And these are the feedbacks I kind of wish they didn't. I kind of wish that the Bruce Wayne monologue didn't keep reminding us who these people are. If you said it once, we'll get it. It's been said a lot of times, which annoys me. I know who this is. You said it before. I know who Vernon is. I know who the Roman is. I know what's going on. You don't need to keep repeating it. It was annoying. After a while, I said, we know. Stop repeating this, please. That was one of the things that kind of drove me nuts. You don't need to keep repeating this. I don't need to keep reading the same verse over. It's like they took that and they put it on this page, and then they put it on this page or this issue. That was annoying to me. You say it once, it will stick to me. You might want to say it twice, fine, but after that, don't say it again. I kind of wish they would have done that. Another thing that also bothered me was the end, which is kind of weird because this villain I did not see at all. Even in any of the panels. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I need to go back and read it, but the Penguin was mentioned in the climactic. I'm like, why was even the Penguin mentioned? Pam Isley, which I almost forgot about because she was rarely in this book. And Pam Isley is Poison Ivy. It makes sense. She played a role in the Roman schemes which was have to do with the bank and pretty much him getting not just his money but the insurance money. At least that's one can assume. Um, you had the Matter, you had the Riddler, which surprisingly was not in the comic. But then again, this is when the Riddler was like, I really don't want to keep doing this for the rest of my life. I'm still a jerk in some cases, but I just want to be from a distance. I don't want nothing to do with Batman kind of thing. So I understand with the climax. You have Catwoman, understandably. The one thing I loved, oh my god, I wish there was more of him because I've heard of him through the Green Lantern series. I never read any comic books with just him versus whatever superhero to DC Universe. So seeing uh, Grundy in here was a breath of fresh air because I've always heard about him, especially through Watch Mojo, Born on a Monday, Solomon Grundy. I was like, yes. And I actually, no, that's not true. I did read something on it, but it was one of those free promotional comics. I didn't go too much into it. But once I saw this and how he was looked, I said, oh my God, they got him good. This is a well-written draw design. Solomon Grundy, Born on a Monday. Which was actually born after they was investigating who blew up Dent's house during Halloween, and it was really well written how they introduced him. I'm like, why is there not more of this guy? Why could we not see Grundy more in this comic book? I really do love him, and I'm surprised. And what makes me even more surprised is I always thought of him being a Green Lantern villain more than I did a Batman villain. But I guess he's one of those villains that can cross over with no problem. But I'm glad he was in this book. So Solomon Grundy, I can understand. Joker, of course, I can understand. The Penguin? He wasn't even none of the chapters. Why is he in this? Why is he a factor in here? That was the whole strange thing about this. That they mentioned the Penguin. I'm like, why? He didn't do anything in this book. And if he did, it didn't reveal it. Maybe they edited something out. Maybe that is. If you guys know. Who's been following, let me know. But I didn't even know. I went back on there a couple times. Like, where's the Penguin? Why is he even mentioned here? So it's like maybe it's just one of those things. But other than that, that's the only true feedback I really got in this book. Everything else, the artwork is beautiful. The cover of some of these books is fantastic. And how they betrayed these characters, how they gave them their own personality, their own trait, their own motivation, was done so well. I can see why a lot of people put this right up there with The Man Who Laughs and even The Killing Joke, which many people still considered the number one graphic novel of all times. And I will talk about that in due time. But I want to get a chance to look at the Killing Joke movie a little bit more and give my review on that movie to coincide with the Killing Joke comic book. Not to do a compare and contrastion, but I want to, really give a fair review on both and cover both as a part 1 and part 2 video. One as a standard review, as another one as a comic book perspective. Same one I did with the Batman vs Superman in many ways. But in any case, back to this. Artwork, loved it. I loved the scenery. I loved the atmospheric feel. There were the two over-top fight scene, especially with the Joker and Penguin fighting on a plane. There is no way in hell that man could control a plane like that and still fight Batman without that plane crashing straight down to the ground. But this is comic book, whatever, suspension of belief. You just go with it. It really was the writing and the way they actually really made me be engaged into reading more of this. And that's important. It's very, very important that you keep me engaged in what I'm reading. And that's what this comic book have done. It really wanted me to read more of this. And so when it ended, I'm not saying it's disappointed, but I was kind of surprised of the big reveal of who Holiday was. To the point is, I have to debate on this because I rather went with the first suspect than this one. But it is what it is. I like to hear you guys' opinion, especially when you read on it. Those who definitely know what I'm talking about, know what I'm getting at. And the only reason why I'm not revealing the big reveal because there are some people who still haven't read it. You gotta read it. It's very, very good. I recommend it. This is one of DC's best angles they have done. And the team of Jeff Loeb and Tim Sal have really done The Dark Knight justice by writing, actually team up and giving us this story. Um, I don't do 4-star ratings on this one. I'll do the letter grade because I think it's only better that I do it. This gets an A minus. I'm taking some points again for one, repeating some of the things that they have done that didn't need repeating, and the penguin thing just bothered me a little bit. But other than that, it's still a well written story. I recommend you check it out, or go to your library and read it there. It's definitely worth the read. But if you read it, I'd like to know if you like it and why. And if you didn't like it, let me know. I'd like to hear your opinion on The Long Halloween. But until next time, this is J77 saying, take care, be safe. I'll talk to you soon. And just almost forgot. Gotta get used to this. You'll see a lot of this stuff. This is a non-for-profit video. I'm saying this for a reason, gentlemen, because I wanted to make it clear that I'm giving credit to all to DC as well as the people responsible for DC, even though I don't use anything that's considered to be that big of a thing other than posting probably image. I'm still going to say that out loud so that way they understand that, yeah, I'm not making any money on this. I'm pretty sure that the way the new YouTube rules have been going on, they're going to make sure I'm not monetizing it anyway, but so be it. I don't really care. But I will say this is I'm very happy to do this review. But I say all credit goes to the people who have created the Batman Long Halloween. Again, check that out. They're very, very good artists. Also, look out some other work they have done. I know Jeff Loeb have done other work before. Tim Sal also done the work before. Just check it out. You'll also, this is just to remind you guys, you can just find this here on YouTube. This video will also be posted on Matic Expression. Go check them out. Besides my videos being posted there, there's other people who post great content there. Show them some love by showing that. Also, I can't stress this more. Please support some of the independent writers, whether it's comic book, music. Check them out. They're all over YouTube. Give them some love. Look at their work. They've done a great, tremendous job. It's dedication and love. All you need to do is look at their work and you see where the dedication and love comes from. Can't stress that out more. And also give a shout out to the comicbookcast.com. They also do podcasts related to comic books as well. So that's pretty much it, guys. Until next time, take care, be safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.